sitting here, and those of you who have been in this space for a long time, I was just thinking this today when I was at work. I was like, I can't remember the exact time when the $100,000 Bitcoin prophecy was announced. Definitely over 7 years ago, possibly. I'm sure everybody was saying, BTC to 100,000, and there were so many people saying that it was never going to happen. Matter of fact, this guy on my job said it was never going to happen, and it did happen. And this was the Wall Street Journal predicted this by 2020. Of course, that didn't happen, right? And they also predicted Ethereum to 17,000, and people are saying that it's easily going to go there, but it's almost there. It's almost there. It is not even that far from 17,000. Matter of fact, obviously it's off, right? But it's so close. ETH is $3,842. Everybody's saying that if we do have an altcoin run, and I believe that we will, it's not over yet. Yes, we could see a $10,000 Ethereum. Yes, everybody's calling for it, right? That's not too far away, right? 7 times $10,000 ETH. So they've been off, but it's getting there. Bitcoin already went to 100,000, right? Ethereum already went. Matter of fact, let me see. What was Ethereum's all-time high? Ethereum's all-time high was $4,946, almost $5,000 recently, right? They were off on the timing, but it keeps getting higher and higher and higher. Now, I'll look into I will look into LTC, right? So LTC is $95, right? So what was Litecoin's all-time high? Its all-time high was $410, and that was 2021. Didn't make it, but it's remarkably close. And you already know that Ripples, or XRP, I'm sorry, right? I'll get it. I'm getting it from CoinGecko. Ripple's all-time high was $3.65, and that was 2025. Why would 1,046 be so unbelievable? Why would it be unbelievable? This is what I will not argue with the market cap junkies anymore. I don't even acknowledge their presence because we keep saying that the amount of XRP that Ripple, the company, holds is on their servers. It is marked as 0. It is not computed. The true number of XRP is not completely known, but it is way less than people can imagine. So the true number that you're going to get is whatever is left on the circulating supply. In other words, whatever is left after the dark pools are exhausted, and then whatever is left on the exchanges. This is how you will get a $1,000 XRP, because the whole entire world, in other words, if the company, stops putting out a billion, I don't know how they do it quarterly, I can't remember, right? If they stop selling it on the open market, and the only place that everybody in the whole entire world can get it is on Coinbase and Kraken and wherever the hell it is. And whenever they start to dry up, because you still are going to have retail. Listen, I was thinking about this last week as well too. I was thinking about this last week as well too. Anything under $100 is a steal. It is an absolute. It's like you're stealing it. You're stealing money. Seriously, because I could see XRP easily hitting $1,000. Why is it that all the top people like Jake Claver are all talking $1,000 to $2,000? Why? Because it's it's at this point where I was saying to myself, I said, the people that designed all of these cryptocurrencies, right? The great mathematicians, the great coders. Not only would they design it, but they would also, whoever commissioned them to design these things, they would also ask them simple questions. If people, in other words, if these coins start getting this amount of adoption and this amount of adoption and this amount of adoption, how many years would it take for it to get to, or basically what would be the prices in the years, in the decades to come? You think these super smart people that have these big IQs, you think they don't study stuff like this and they don't put papers out like this? For very, very rich people? Yes, they do. They do. This is why I thought about it recently, because a lot of these people say, well, they've stopped buying. No, 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 no. I, when it gets to $100, I will buy one XRP at a time. I will still consider it a steal to buy it at $100 at a time. Matter of fact, I would still consider it a steal to buy it when it gets to $400. I would buy maybe a half of it. I would buy $200 where I would. Because if you know it's going to get to these high numbers, it's just going to keep going up and up and up. And not only that, closing it out. Because this is a utility coin. This is not a speculation coin. This is a utility coin that wants all major systems. Because I'm here to tell you, it is going to replace Swift. It is. It's just all of the companies that they have bought. They are all pretty much, I know this, I know they're plugging it all into the XRP ledger. In other words, they are connecting the legacy systems into the new blockchain, right? Into the unified ledger, into the one ledger that is going to link all value into one ledger. The blockchain that is going to be tapped into all central banks, the blockchain that's going to be providing the CBDCs. It's going to replace Swift, and I believe it's going to replace the Federal Reserve. I really do. I really do. ISO 2022 compliant and whatnot. So I mean, like I said before, I haven't even covered all the companies that they have acquired in the last 2 years or whatever, that and they're all financially focused, liquidity focused, tying old money into new money, and they're going to be offering XRP, and it's if people don't see it, they're just not going to see it. They're not going to see the XRP is the world reserve currency. That's exactly what it is. It is the number one coin on the planet, and people can't see it. So, and why you don't believe that it's going to go to $1,000 is just, it's astonishing. It really is.